حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا وأنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينصلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. Amma ba'd, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I proceed, I am absolutely confident that I echo the sentiments of each and everyone here today as we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having in our midst Hafiz Imran, who really warms the heart just before we commence the formal side of the Jummah program. We also remember that he is a student of the late Sheikh Muhammad Fuad Isaacs. May Allah grant him a very high place in Jannah. And we make dua that Almighty Allah will see that Hafiz Imran will be here many years to come, inshallah. Jamaat, our speaker today is someone of whom I will speak a little bit about later on at the end of the talk. But it is indeed with a great amount of happiness and pleasure that I'd like to call upon Sheikh Dr. Achmat Salie, who will address the gathering today in terms of the pre-khutbah talk. Dr. Achmat Salie, inshallah.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله تبارك وتعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولولا نفر من كل فرقة طائفة يتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إلى آخر الآية. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الحكمة ضالة المؤمن فليأخذ بها أن وجدها. وعن عبد الله بن السلام عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أيها الناس أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام وصلوا والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بسلام. صدق الله وصدق رسول النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We know the famous ayah of the Quran, and then that ayah is encouraging every community to have a group of people that go and have tafaqquh, a deep understanding of knowledge, and then they will then warn their people about that. Now we know knowledge is something much broader than just learning Quran and Hadith or learning the Sharia, but knowledge could be anything that would be out there to protect the community, that would be out there to enhance the skills of our community. And so what I'm going to suggest is some of the knowledge of global affairs and some of the knowledge of some of the threats that are out there that we may not be aware of. That would be some of the knowledge I would like to share with you today. Knowledge includes the threats to Islam, the threats to religion as such, the threat to humanity, and because Islam always concerns itself with all of creation, the threat to the khalq or the creation. Fiqh has become political. We know we have all shed tears multiple times when the story of the New Zealand mosques incident unfolded. Now, as shocking as it was, it came as no surprise. There's a prophetic saying of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that is very spot on, that the believers, the faithful, are like one body, and when one part, إِذَا اشْتَكَى مِنْهُ عُضْوٌ تَدَاعَى لَهُ سَائِرُ الْجَسَدِ بِالْحُمَّى وَالسَّهَرِ. When one part of it is in pain, the entire body feels the pain. In this case, the pain was excruciating. I think many of us shed tears, not only once, but many, many times. We also know from the hadith of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the time will come when the enemies of Islam will attack Muslims like a pack of wolves, devouring its prey. And then the litany of oppressions would be never-ending, كَقِطَعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ, almost like the night becoming progressively darker. But despite all that, Islam is also a doctrine of optimism that is mandatory. There are always tremendous spiritual compensations for the pain that we encounter, the pain that we experience. عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كل له خير إن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له إن أصابته الشر شكر فكان خيرا له. One of the issues that we need to know in the political chessboard, that very often we blame the pawns, for those of you who know chess, and we forget that there are bigger players, the puppeteers, those who are pulling the strings. The USA and Israel are the greatest exporters of global terror, outsourcing global terror. According to Noam Chomsky, we are creating the greatest disturbers of peace around the world. And much of the global lynching in the global plantation comes because of a handful of people, especially in the USA. And I'm not talking about all the people in the USA. Often we refer to the 1%. If you understand slavery, if you understand what happened in the history of America, you will see it's just a continuation of that lynching that happened in plantations. And I'm going to expose you to a few important works that I think every Muslim should read in order to interpret global affairs. Now, the USA is both a beauty and a beast. The USA has a very large minorities that are interested in global peace. And these minorities include millennials, Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, and even members of the armed forces. Now, 70% of the US armed forces come from the poorest of the poor. Sometimes they are tricked from elementary school to join the army. There are savage inequalities in education in order to draw African Americans, Hispanics, and others into the armed forces. These people are not necessarily always loyal to the US establishment. In a book, The Crisis of Zionism by Peter Baynard, more than 85% of Jews, especially young Jews, do not support the fascism that we find in Israel. Now, here in South Africa, we do not realize the debt we owe to Americans. Had it not been for a lot of Americans, especially Afro-Americans and some church communities who stood up for us, then it would have been longer to dismantle apartheid. I am meeting with a lot of activists who made sure that they forced the hand of the US government in order to have sanctions against apartheid, and they had many strategies in place to do that. So as much as the US is a problem, the US is also a solution, because you have communities there, they are so powerful that they can really provide solutions to this disaster capitalism or the shock doctrine that we find throughout the world. Muslim Americans have much to offer, and I know we are very organized, and perhaps Masjid-ulQuds is one of the most organized communities in the country, but we have organizations like CARE, we have organizations like ISPU, a think tank, we have organizations like ICNA or ISNA, where we have conferences of 30,000 Muslims. We have pollsters like Dalia Mujahid, and many Muslims, some of the brightest Muslims from maybe 70 different nationalities are out in the US. Few people realize it's almost 15 million Muslim Americans. I think South Africa may have 2 million, 15 million. So we're a powerful force, some very wealthy American Muslims, and it's important for us to tap into that strength and see how they could benefit you as South Africans, as New Zealanders, as Australians. One of the thoughts that come to mind is from Joe Hill, and he wrote that, don't mourn, organize. Don't mourn, organize. So we need to move beyond mourning, because what happened in New Zealand was not a lone wolf. It was a system, a global system that is in place, global poison that has been inserted or injected into the community, into the world, and we are feeling some of that right now. But some of the other important works that you need to read is maybe the works of Trevor Aronson. He wrote the book, The Terror Factory. There's a 9-minute TED Talk by Trevor. He's a lawyer, and he found that 99%, some would say even more than 99%, of all the cases in which Muslims were accused of being behind terror attacks, they were all entrapped and they were all framed. So here you have a manufacturing of terror, and Muslims become apologetic. They think they have to take the blame, they have to apologize for that. But if you really know who's behind that, it's a quite a different story out there. So Trevor Aronson's work, of course, Naomi Klein's work on the shock doctrine and disaster capitalism is important. Other than organizing ourselves, going beyond mourning, we also need to do that in a group. Noam Chomsky, a Jewish professor at MIT, gave a very, very powerful talk once, and one woman felt so helpless or so inspired. She said, "What can I do to change what's happening in the world?" And he said, "Nothing." And after a dramatic pause, he said, "I want you, only if you want to do something, do it with a group. Create a movement." And so if we're not going to create movements to effect change and to bring about change, we are not going to see anything. But that would also require from us to change some of our own paradigms, our own attitudes. Sometimes we are too resistant to change. So there must be an epistemology of discomfort. So if we are not going to be comfortable broadening our horizons, we are not going to see some significant change. We have to embrace diversity. It's a lovely saying I've just used everywhere. Those who love only themselves are narcissists. Those who love only their family are nepotists. Those who love only their friends are cronies. Those who love only their locality are provincialists. Those who love people only from their own nation are sectarian nationalists. Those who love people only from their own religion are religious bigots. Islam has always had place for the Ahlul Kitab. Islam had place for even the atheists and agnostics. And many of these mushrikeen, Islam had place for all these people. And so transcending our understanding of inclusivity, we will have to practice that inclusive excellence. And also never give up hope. Optimism is mandatory. إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسُ مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Now, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you despair, it's a sign of kufr. Kufr is a very strong word. The opposite, another way of expressing that, it is mandatory for you to be optimistic. What Ilhan Omar, a Somali woman in America with a hijab, what she did, very, very strategically, getting Jews and Republicans and Democrats together and make a distinction between Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, that's just one of the most marvelous accomplishments. And I think more and more are going to happen over the next few years. My concern is often if we do not see structural violence, symbolic violence, systemic violence, systematic violence, we are not going to be able to have an authentic critique of whatever happens in the world. Throughout the world, there are thousands of innocents that are dying. Unlike the New Zealand incident where that was in the spotlight, in the media spotlight, there are people dying of drone warfare. Obama authorized the use of 20,000 military drones in the year 2009. So yes, Obama seems like a good guy. Trump seems like the bad, the racist in chief. But Obama was a detainer in chief and the deporter in chief. He was just a good emperor compared to Trump, that's a bad Roman emperor. But the system needs to be changed because behind the system, what Professor Mike Glennon writes, the parallel government, the CIA, the FBI, they are really controlling the government. And so if you have a single document with 3,000 or few thousand pages stating that those who wear hijab are guilty of passive terrorism, you have a great danger. If you have those very people coming to our airports and training our people into security, we have a greater danger for to ourselves. So we need to be Muslims that are alert and Muslims that know exactly how these groups are functioning in order to protect ourselves. Academic lynching is another issue. And this has come on since even when the Dutch occupied Indonesia, Malaysia. The Dutch decided that one gentleman embraced Islam, he even took the title of Mufti or Sheikhul Islam. I think his last name was Snoek. And you know the snook is a predator, and married Muslim women. And then his aim was to subjugate Aceh. And they said the only way to subjugate Aceh is to kill all the ulama, their followers and friends, and then you'll subjugate Aceh. And they did that. So assassination of ulama, 70 alims were killed in Mali a few years ago. Tariq Ramadan's lynching is nothing new. So for 9 months, Tariq Ramadan suffered, and then without due process, you ask yourself, who is primitive, who is barbaric? The French government is primitive. They are barbaric for doing what they have done to Tariq. And then what they do is, in order to release you, they say, okay, we will only release you if you confess to something. Now it is published that this man confessed to one of these cases. And so everyone believes it. You can go even to Sheikh Sadullah Khan, what happened to him. One of the most dynamic leaders in America. He could invite a crowd of maybe thousands of young people. One single article, everyone seems to believe it. There is no facts behind that. Now, justice in Islam is about the pursuit of innocence. It's not about the pursuit of criminals, and you really need 4 witnesses when it comes to certain types of slander. Nothing of that sort. We need to know our fiqh, and sometimes we trust even the media that we accuse of, we still trust them on some issues. Even Nu'man Ali Khan, another form of lynching, because the Zionist Islamophobic industry does not want to see dynamic scholars to thrive. They do not want to see a strong voice for Islam being propagated. And so be very careful when you see people go after your scholars. Give them always the benefit of the doubt before you just go for whatever people say. It's very unfortunate within the feminist movement and other movements, people just follow like sheep. And so now in America we have the Me Too movement. And today any innocent man can become a victim of the Me Too movement, because suddenly a woman of no good character can come up and say, but he harassed me. And she said, oh, okay, he harassed me. Harassment might just be, oh, he said, you look beautiful today, because that is also now sexual harassment. So it's really gone to the extreme. And if we do not show any nuance, if we do not show sophistication in the way we interpret things or the way we understand our Sharia, then we are going to slander innocent people. The Quran does say, in the جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. When anyone who's immoral comes to you with news, then be very thorough in your investigation. We know the Western media is fasiq, and yet we believe them many a times, unknowingly and sometimes knowingly. Now, the war economies of the US, of Israel, of France, of many of these places, so far they have spent $13 trillion on the war efforts. And they actually want to destroy, have mayhem. Look at what happened to Syria. And then suddenly they say this is a Shia-Sunni issue. Hate Iran, hate this group. What happened in Yemen, suddenly it's a Shia-Sunni issue. Of course, Muslims have always been at fighting issue. So now we have the propensity to believe, oh yes, we hate each other. It's possible. Be very, very careful. When I saw the incident happening in Verulam, with one Shia scholar being killed, I told myself it's so easy for these forces with these war economies to go in there, kill a scholar, and blame it on someone else. They've done it all the time through history. Be very, very careful how you interpret these events. There's a important book that came out in 1991 and was written by a French political philosopher and sociologist, Jean Baudrillard. And he simply wrote that the Iraq War did not happen. The Iraq War did not happen. And what he meant by that is, it only happens when the West tells you it happened. It only happens when the West tells you that it happens. We don't know about the hundreds and thousands of Muslims that die in drone attacks every day. Yes, we are mourning New Zealand, but those are few people, and alhamdulillah, they died in Rajab before Jummah. May Allah give them, they are shaheed. But those other innocent people, they are also shaheed, but none of us know their names. None of us know what happened to them. The disaster capitalism in Africa, the disaster capitalism in the Middle East, is just devastating every Muslim community out there. No authentic religion encourages terrorism, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, even atheism. And so wherever you find terror, then there's always other groups that are shayateen, and these people are creating this havoc. It's sad what's happening to Yemen. Here you have a Muslim king completely under the influence of the Zionists and dropping bombs in Yemen. 22 million or 23 million of 29 million people are starving. If you study the history of the Yemen, you know most of Saudi has to be Yemenis, because even the Jurhum tribe that settled in Makkah, and we have Rukn Yamani, if you take the Quran that Jefferson studied, the first president of the US, the Yemen goes right up to Ta'if, or maybe even right up to Makkah. And now this Khabith, this evil person, is throwing bombs on Yemen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect Yemen. We have so much that we owe to Yemen. Let me see how I'm doing for time. Let me just conclude. In fact, I have a number of recommendations here, and allow me just to quickly go through some of that. Let us see the Anbiya as archetypes. Musa alayhi salam saw one of the poor Israelites being brutalized. He immediately stepped in, right there, justification for the Black Lives Matter movement. He goes to Madian and sees two girls, and they're not being treated fairly. He steps in the first day as an immigrant, and he stands up for justice. He goes to Shu'aib's house, and he gets offer of marriage. The very first day, he gets citizenship. We call it green card. So you reinterpret the Quran and use the prophets as archetypes. Even a lot of Protestant Christians have lost this. They haven't got the stories of the Anbiya. So that is very powerful. Surah Iqra wants all of us to be thinkers. Surah Muzammil wants all of us to be spiritual. Surah Mudathir wants all of us to be activists. So you have to bring out activism. You have a few Jews, sometimes a single Jewish lady, serving on 10 different boards and different committees. Go out and join the chambers of commerce, and politics is everything. And if you don't realize that by now, then you are going to find a lot of problems. I thought of asked people, why is there a sewage smell in Gatesville? And immediately I connected it to something that happened in Detroit. There was a city called Black Bottom and Paradise Valley. And there were hundreds of millions in the 1920s. And deliberately, the government, most of them are not from our people, would put roads like the I-75, I-375 through that in order to cut off those businesses. Who's going to give money to the masajid? See that most of your dollars go to Muslim businesses, because that is what the enemies of Islam want. those people are not going to support our masajid and our universities that we need. But think something, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked us to have a 100-year plan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all that 100-year plan. Let me just finalize this. We have a few. The last point I want to make is maybe 2 points still. Beware of an oppression Olympics, that only your pain is unique. If you want to reach out to another community, try to understand their history and know a little more about their thinking and their history than what they even themselves know. So an oppression Olympics, we don't have pain, only people from our own community suffer, but we think of the pain of all communities. And 2 quick pieces. Kun jamilan taral hujuda jamilan. If you become beautiful, you'll find everything beautiful. And let us be like the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Muhammadun bashar wa laysa kal bashar, al-yaqutatu hajar wa laysa kal hajar. You know, diamond and charcoal are made of carbon atoms, but different molecular structures. But you be diamond Muslims or platinum Muslims. Don't be charcoal Muslims. Make sure that you need hard work for that. You need much more pressure. The more people put pressure on us as a community, the more we become diamond Muslims and not just simply charcoal Muslims. And the last story is a woman in Egypt, a Quran teacher. She loved one ayah of the Quran, وَعَجِلْتُ إِلَيْكَ رَبِّي لِتَرْضَى. And I rush to you, my Lord, so you that may have rida and satisfaction. One day, her husband came from work. She was preparing the grape leaves, and she said, there are 3 left, let me just leave it at that. So she left it at that, and her husband came home. It was Asr. He looked at her on the musalla in sujood, and he just moved away. After 5 minutes came back, she's still in the same position. And then he realized she has passed away, and Allah has called her back to His rahmah. But rush to Allah. وَعَجِلْتُ إِلَيْكَ رَبِّي لِتَرْضَى. Don't ever compromise. Don't leave out your salah. Don't leave out your fasting. And go beyond that to nafil salah, the Quran that you read. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us as a community. May Allah protect us. May Allah guide us. And may Allah protect us from these arsonists that are pretending to be firefighters and the poachers becoming gamekeepers.
MashaAllah, Jamaat. Shukran very much, particularly for those who've come late, to Sheikh Dr. Achmat Salie for a brilliant, scholarly, cool, calm, and collected message of guidance to this Jamaat here today. May Almighty Allah bless him and guide him. I did say at the beginning that I'm going to introduce our learned scholar for the benefit of a much greater Jamaat. Well, we come a long way because he was initially a teacher at the Habibia Primary School. Thereafter, and many of you will remember, he was Imam at the Belleville South Masjid. After that, through the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he decided to climb the ladder of knowledge. And today, he is a visiting academic at our beautiful institution known as IPSA down the road. He's also an acclaimed international scholar. And the point I'm trying to make, particularly to the young people today, that he does not only have 1 PhD, he's got 2 PhDs. One in the stream of secular knowledge, a PhD in business administration, and the second PhD in the field of Islamic knowledge is Islamic studies, particularly in a very, very concentrated field relating to an aspect of Sharia. He's traveled the world very widely and is a shining example, particularly to our youth, of climbing the ladder, both in terms of the knowledge of the deen and the knowledge of the dunya. He has really empowered us today. Very cool, calm, and collected person, doesn't shout and come across overtly, but the message is a wonderful one. Please make dua for me, join me in making dua silently, that Almighty Allah must bless Sheikh Dr. Achmat Salie, and that he'll be going back to the States. He's based there at the moment, but sooner than later, we will be able to have him back here permanently again. I also want to thank Sheikh Ihsan Talib for making it possible that Sheikh Dr. Achmat Salie could be here today. Just a number of announcements. We had the janazah in the week of Mrs. Sharifa Kaji, passed away at the age of 84. And also this morning we heard the passing away of Dr. Muhammad Fahmi Williams. Anyone else that you may be aware of, may Almighty Allah grant all of them a very, very high place in Jannah, inshallah. One of our senior trustees, in fact, the senior most trustee, Haji Ibrahim Badruddin, is in hospital. And we make dua that Almighty Allah must grant him complete shifa. Also, please join me in welcoming back our assistant Bilal, Brother Abu Bakr Shlos. As we announced a few weeks ago, he had suffered a stroke, and alhamdulillah, he's managed to walk into the masjid today. That is the power of dua. We affectionately refer to him as our beloved Bubi. MashaAllah, very nice to have you back here, inshallah. Also, our sister Fatima Flotman, who about a year ago was critically ill. Alhamdulillah, she's been for Umrah, and she's back, and we make dua, Allah must grant her Umrah Maqbool, inshallah. The big walk, a very important event in the calendar of the Muslims in the Cape, takes place this week, this Sunday. That's the 7th of April at the Cape Town Stadium. I believe that the response this year has been very, very good, and we would like to wish them all the success, inshallah. Jamaat, another very success story which I'd like to share with you. Over 2 weeks, we requested you to dig into your pockets for our brothers in Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. We know about the cyclone and we know about the devastation. Well, I'm very happy to mention that over a space of 2 weeks, alhamdulillah, all of you have been very, very kind. We've managed to raise 182,000 rand, and that money will be channeled to the victims via the agency of the gift of the givers, inshallah. The Goodwood Masjid has announced, as requested that we announce, that they will be partnering with the Sunflower Fund on a stem cell drive on the 6th of April, which is tomorrow, for a young doctor, Dr. Nabil Ismail, and we'd like to wish them all the best also. Just 2 more announcements. Inshallah, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be having the Laylatul Barat program at this masjid. I can mention to you now, it's on a Sunday, so therefore it will be between Maghrib and Isha. There's no question of people needing to come from work, etc. On that evening, inshallah, we'll be making some major announcements, including one about the appointment of the new imam at this masjid. The announcement will be carried live on Radio 786, so just mention that to you. And then we heard earlier on in the talk given by our respected Sheikh here regarding some issues pertaining to Sheikh Norman Ali Khan, who will be our visiting scholar for the month of Ramadan. We are consulting very widely. Some of you have, in true Islamic spirit, contacted me, and I've mentioned to you that we are consulting very widely, and inshallah we will be making a formal announcement in the course of the next week or so. Our speaker for next week on Friday, and the topic is a very interesting one again. The topic is, please listen to this very carefully, the lessons from the Bosnian massacre. The lessons from the Bosnian massacre. The lecture will be delivered by Haji Shabuddin Rumane. Just by way of quick background, in 1995, 8,000 Muslims were massacred, 30,000 were expelled from their homes. This was ethnic cleansing at its very worst in modern day times. We live in a country where we are a minority, and it's important that we are aware of these events that have taken place in history so that we know how we should adjust ourselves as minorities in this country. So that's next week on Friday. This week, inshallah, the khutbah will be delivered by our respected Sheikh, and the salah, I've requested Sheikh Ihsan Talib to lead us in the salah. Shukran for that, Sheikh Dr. Achmat Salie, once again, highly, highly appreciated. With that, Jamaat, I'm getting lots of signals from the back. Once again, if I can please request all of us to stand up, fill every available space as we have the adhan and the rest of the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين رب اختم لنا بالخير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فيقول الله عز وجل فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. فيا من نفر من بيته وفارق أسرة وأحباء رغبة في طلب العلوم الدينية الإسلامية ابتغاء مرضات الله سبحانه مرحبا بك وأهلا. تبقى وصية رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فإنه عليه الصلاة والسلام كان يقول لأصحابه رضي الله عنهم إن الناس لكم تبع وإن رجالا يأتونكم من أقطار الأرض يتفقهون في الدين وإذا أتوكم فاستوصوا بهم خيرا وعلموهم مما علمكم الله. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام سيأتيكم قوم من أطراف الأراضين يسألونكم عن الدين فإذا جاءوكم فأوسعوا لهم واستوصوا بهم خيرا وعلموهم. وكان أصحاب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يكرمون طلاب العلم غاية الإكرام بحكم الوصية النبوية وكانوا يوصون بها أصحابهم وأتباعهم كذلك. يقول المحدث الجليل الشيخ إسماعيل رحمه الله دخلنا على الحسن البصري نعوده حتى ملأنا البيت فقد قبض رجلي ثم قال دخلنا على أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه نعوده حتى ملأنا البيت فقبض رجلي ثم قال دخلنا على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى ملأنا البيت وهو مضطجع لجنبي فلما رآنا قبض رجلي ثم قال إنه سيأتيكم أقوام من بعدي يطلبون العلم فرحبوهم وحيوهم وعلموهم. ثم اعلموا أيها الإخوة الأعزاء أن كل هذا التبشير والترحيب والإكرام إنما يستحقه الطالب إذا طلب العلم خالصا لوجه الله الكريم. فإن العمل المعروف مهما جل وعظم إذا كان خلوا من الإخلاص لم يعدل جناح بعوضة عند الله عز وجل. وكذلك اللازم على الطالب أن يبحث عن العلم كل البحث ويلتمس حق الالتماس فإن من جد وجد وأما من لم يبذل جهوده في طلبه ولم يستغل قواه وأوقاته فيه فجدير بأن يرجع صفر اليدين. وقد قال العلماء العلم لا يعطيك بعضه حتى تعطيه كلك. إن للعلم طبيعة وخلقا فإن يتطلب مما يتصدى لطلبه بدنه وروحه وفكره ثم لا يعطي الطالب عوضا عن جميع ما أخذ إلا بعضه وإن كان هذا البعض يكسب الطالب اليمن والسعادة في الدنيا والآخرة فإن شيئا يسيرا من علم الدين خير من الدنيا وما فيها. قليل منك يكفيني ولكن قليلك لا يقال له قليل. ثم ينبغي للطالب أن يلتمس العلم مستهدفا إلى العمل بموجبه، فإن العمل هو الطريق الوحيد إلى الانتفاع بالعلم كالدواء للمريض. إذا أراد يستشفي به فلا بد ويستعمله. وقال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: تعلموا ما شئتم أن تعلموا فلن ينفعكم الله حتى تعملوا بما تعلمون. وعن أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه أنه قال: يا حملة العلم اعملوا به، فإنما العالم من علم ثم عمل ووافق علمه عملا. وسيكون أقوام يحملون العلم لا يجاوز تراقيهم، تخالف سريرتهم علانيتهم، ويخالف علمهم عملهم، يقعدون حلقا فيباهي بعضهم بعضا، حتى إن الرجل ليبخض على جليسه أن يجلس لغيره ويدعه. أولئك لا تصعد أعمالهم في مجالسهم تلك إلى الله عز وجل. وأخيرا نقدم لك هدية نصيحة من كلام صحابي جليل علك تجد فيها ما تحتاج إليه في سبيل العلم والدين. قال عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه: لو أن أهل العلم صالوا العلم ووضعوه عند أهله لسادوا أهل زمانهم، ولكنهم وضعوه عند أهل الدنيا لينالوا من دنياهم فهانوا عليهم. ونصح مرة لأصحابه فقال: كونوا ينابيع العلم، مصابيح الدجى، أحلاس البيوت، ملازميها، سرر الليل، جدد القلوب، خلقان الثياب، تعرفون في السماء وتخفون على أهل الأرض. جعلنا الله سبحانه وتعالى من الطالبين العلم المكرمين العلماء المبلغين آيات الله ورسالاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
اللهم صل وسلم وزد وتوانم وتفضل وبارك بجلالك وكمالك على زين عبادك واشرف عبادك سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وصحبه وسلم ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن كل صحابة أجمعين.
الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباد الله الذين اصطفى. أما بعد، اللهم فصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وأصحاب محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، خصوصا على الخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي رضي الله عنهم، وعلى سائر الصحابة والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين، اللهم انصر المسلمين في العراق وفي اليمن وفي سوريا وفي الشرق الأوسط وفي أفريقيا. اللهم انصرنا في أمريكا، وانصر المسلمين في أوروبا وأستراليا ونيوزيلندا وجنوب أفريقيا. اللهم انصر المسلمين في العالم كله. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كشمير، اللهم انصر المسلمين في الأيغورز في الصين. رب اللهم انصرنا ولا تنصر علينا، وامكر لنا ولا تمكر علينا، واهدنا سبل السلام، وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم، ودعوه يستجب لكم، ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وجل وتم وهم وأكبر، والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. استووا. اعتدلوا يرحمكم الله. أقيموا صفوفكم. Straighten your lines تفضل. Stand shoulder to shoulder. صلي تفضل. الله أكبر. الله أكبر كبيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. فلا أقسم بمواقع النجوم وإنه لقسم لو تعلمون عظيم إنه لقرآن كريم في كتاب مكنون لا يمسه إلا المطهرون تنزيل من رب العالمين. أفبهذا الحديث أنتم مدهنون وتجعلون رزقكم أنكم تكذبون فلولا إن كنتم غير مدينين ترجعونها إن كنتم صادقين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فأما إن كان من المقربين روح وريحان وجنة نعيم وأما إن كان من أصحاب اليمين فسلام لك من أصحاب اليمين وأما إن كان من المكذبين الضالين فنزل من حميم وتصلية جحيم إن هذا لهو حق اليقين فسبح باسم ربك العظيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام علينا. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يرجع السلام. فحينا ربنا بالسلام ودخلنا الجنة برحمتك دار السلام. تباركت ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. ربنا لك الحمد سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. فلك الحمد حتى ترضى، ولك الحمد إذا رضيت، ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات، وتقضي لنا بها من جميع الحاجات، وتطهرنا يا ربنا بها من جميع السيئات، وترفعنا يا ربنا عندك بها على الدرجات، وتبلغنا يا ربنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهم كما ربونا صغارا، وارزقهم الجنة الفردوس بغير حساب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وتول أمرنا واحفظ أولادنا واستر عيوبنا وطهر قلوبنا واختم بالصالحات أعمالنا يا كريم. اللهم توفنا مسلمين والحقنا بالصالحين غير خزايا ولا مفتونين برحمتك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم اغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية ولنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا على ذلك يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا ربنا آمنا في أوطاننا وأصلح أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا واجعل ولايتنا في من خافك واتقاك يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. شيخ فيصل.